Number 112, scapegoating.
Scapegoating. Also, blame casting. The ancient fallacy that whenever something goes wrong, there's always someone other than oneself to blame. Although sometimes this fallacy is a practical denial of randomness or chance itself, today it's more often a mere insurance-driven business decision. Quote, I don't care if it was an accident, somebody with deep pockets is going to pay for this. Though often scapegoating is no more than a cynical ploy to shield those truly responsible from blame. The term scapegoating is also used to refer to the tactic of casting collective blame on marginalized or scorned others. Example, the are to blame. A particularly corrupt and cynical example of scapegoating is the fallacy of blaming the victim, in which one falsely casts the blame for one's own evil or questionable acts on those affected. Example, if you move an eyelash, I'll have to kill you and you'll be to blame. If you don't blow or if you don't bow to our demands, we'll shut down the government and it'll be totally your fault. Uh, this says, you're a bitch. You acted flirty and made me you. Then you snitched on me to the cops and let them collect a kit on you. And now I'm going to prison and every bit of it is your fault. See also the affective fallacy. Uh that was an incredibly graphic last little bit there.
Yeah.
They saved the stuff for the very end. My God. Oh my God, that's such my body felt gross just reading that.
Yep.
Uh, I've mentioned before on this show that taking responsibility for my own actions was something that was a really big thing for me for a while. Um, I think the most common scapegoats that I would choose would either have been the economy, the government, my employer, uh, and also my parents. I would look at, oh, the reason this is happening or the reason I'm acting this way, or this was a long time ago. I haven't blamed this in a while, but my trauma. So it would be like, oh my God, no, it's because I experienced this trauma or I have this thing. So I would scapegoat either another person, parents, government, job. My life sucks because of this thing outside of me, and then make a big villain out of those things. So yeah, trauma, limiting beliefs. This is the way it is, or I am the way it is because uh, I've also said it's because uh, men aren't ready for XYZ information, so they don't want to hear it, or it's been uh, women. So I've done a ton of this in my life for sure. Um, yeah, I've done a ton of scapegoating. The blaming the victim. Fortu Fortunately and unfortunately, but I would say mostly fortunately, I've experienced enough of people very close to me experiencing victim blaming enough that it's something that I'm very hyper aware of and don't do that. Let's put it that way. So, but yeah, scapegoating for sure. Um, Used to do that all the time. And still to this day, watch myself on that one because I can catch myself wanting to blame somebody else or something else for why something is the way it is in my own life.
Traditionally, they have used the scapegoat of gun violence with not guns, but video games, when there's actually substantial evidence to the contrary that video games reduce gun violence. And I was gonna say something similar to that. Um, but also like I relate to what Alan was saying, um, because I also like I'm trying to move out. Like I'm being fully transparent. Like I'm trying to. And the the market is just so bad right now, and we're in California, and it's cost of living is already like super high here. And so like I kind of would use my parents because they're baby boomers, and I would be like, well, it's your generation that like made it difficult for like my generation to find housing, um, which isn't totally 100% true. So, um, so there's that. And then I've also like used stuff from my past, or like my trauma and like blame it on my trauma. And it's like, no, like this isn't a reason to be acting the way that I'm acting. So,
Go.
so I do relate to that.
Let's go, Sarah. Super strong. Yeah, this is a I think this is one that a lot of people do, and I think it's also it's hard to not do. It's so much easier to blame someone or something else for our life conditions. So much
Yeah.
easier. And yeah, I think just because of how easy that is, people do it. Bryce says I've definitely used hyperbolic examples of this, but I tried to make sure that it's understood as hyperbolic and not literally all one thing. Blaming the victim I've seen done from narcissists in real life.
Bryce said, blaming the victim has definitely been done to me. I used to know someone that would tell me if I've done something wrong, and I corrected myself, but then as soon as I tried to tell them that a joke that they made offended me, they blamed me on being too sensitive and wouldn't concede at all. Yeah, I've also been called too sensitive for like sometimes getting offended at a joke. It's like when people say no offense and then they say something offensive. It's like just because you say no offense doesn't mean that it's gonna not be taken offensively, you know? But yeah.